Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst,
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
live from Malibu. There they are, Frankie Holbrook and Jackie, their Shine His Light Ministries. Now, first of all, good morning, you guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good
Yeah,
to,
thanks for getting
Sunny
up early with
days.
us this morning.
yeah, good to see you. If
Yeah,
you're
it's
watching,
about 7 a.m. here.
That's
you're
too
watching,
early. That's way too
Too
early.
early.
if you're watching Facebook Live or YouTube Live, there in the background, out the window there, that is actually the Pacific Ocean. It's not a green screen picture like I have,
Mm-hmm.
No,
but
look,
it's
let's show them.
but it's
Can we
beautiful.
get it to show?
Yeah.
Look at
There
that
you go.
sunrise.
Look at that. Of course, I'm sure that Jackie and Frankie went surfing this morning.
Oh, no. Look, but do you know what's crazy? There was a bunch of surfers out there. You know, they just got their wetsuits on. We were
Right.
like, no, can't do that.
It's cold.
I
We're
lived
too cold for that. Yeah.
I lived in San Diego, late 80s, early 90s, and never surfed before, but I went to a church where there was a ton of surfers. So they talked me into going, and we went year round. And yeah, you'd go in February where it was ice cold, but if you wear a wetsuit, it's almost like, I mean,
Yeah.
it feels good.
Yeah, you're like a seal. I
Yeah.
love San Diego too. We should have wore the San Diego hat.
We should.
You had yours.
Next
We had
time.
cute hats, but
Next
we were
time.
late because we
Yeah.
slept in.
I don't blame you. I would have too.
It's all good. Well, we want to catch up with you guys here in a second. Of course, we've talked to Frankie and had her in the studio with her crew. And Dan said it well before we went live. With Frankie, it's always a party. Where
Yeah.
Frankie goes, the party
It's
goes.
just a walking party.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Frankie.
It's a walking party. So and the
Yes.
party
We bring the
continues.
party.
So Shine, of course, Shine His Light Ministries reaches so many people on the streets all over the globe. And out there in Malibu, you guys are fixing, as we say in the South, to go out and feed the homeless. I guess, what'd you say on the beach?
Yeah, we're gonna be serving on the beach today.
In Santa Monica.
Yeah, so Jackie set it up. She handles stuff out here. She's the ambassador of Shine for California. And so works on Skid Row. If anybody knows about that, there's like 9,000 people out there that are homeless and 2 bathrooms. It's worse than any refugee camp you're going to see. And so she works there, and then lined up, we're going to be on the beach today serving. And then thank you, Bombas. We're going to give everybody new socks, and we're going to serve food, and we're going to do big grocery bags for everybody. And I mean, that's going to help a lot of people. Santa Barbara, some of their roads were totally shut down because of the storms that have happened recently. So anything else you want to talk about with what we're doing today?
Today?
Yeah.
Oh no, you pretty much hit it all on the nail. Yeah, we're gonna just hand out. Everybody can come, and you don't have to be homeless. You can just be struggling today, and you can come up and get fresh groceries. So we'll be handing all of that out.
Jackie, now you
Santa
live
Monica.
there in Malibu, right?
No, not in Malibu. We're going to be down a little bit in Santa Monica.
Okay.
It's probably like 20 minutes down the street.
Yeah.
But Jackie, you live in that area?
So I lived in LA from 2018 until right after coronavirus hit. And then I moved to Bakersfield. And so now I've been working a lot with the homeless in Bakersfield.
Mm-hmm.
But I do still come back up and work on Skid Row and the outer areas in downtown LA.
Now talk about the homeless issue there in California, but specifically LA, Malibu, and all those areas.
It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think there's 100,000 folks that are homeless in California.
I think maybe even more.
Is
but
it
yeah,
more now?
That's just like barely hitting the tip.
All the numbers have grown. And then in San Francisco too, and I'll be going there later in the year, and then we're going to do an event on Skid Row and bring all the guys out, you know, and the rappers, and do a concert and everything down there in Skid Row. I'm lining up something. But San Francisco, they have 13,000 in what they call Tent City. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like a little community, but they just live in tents. Think of like, you know, when you see the Indian areas where they've got all the tents set up and everybody kind of helps each other out with water and food and all those things. It's kind of like that. And it's kind of a neat ecosystem, and not what you would think with 13,000 people in that close of proximity living in tents. So that's one. And then in Skid Row, there's probably about 9,000, but then dispersed about California and then upper into, Oregon, Portland, some of those areas. It's kind of spilling out over there too. The cost of living, even in Georgia, you guys know, and I talk about it, but the cost of living here it's outrageous. Yeah. So so it's very hard to live. So you'll even see families out there, with kids, and the kids are getting ready in the morning and going to school and stuff. The parents are getting ready out of a tent to go to work.
Wow.
Shiny's Light Ministries, global, on the East Coast, the West Coast, all over. Frankie Holbrook and Jackie there with her. As I mentioned earlier, I lived in San Diego. I've been all over the U.S., lived in the U.S., but when I went to San Diego, actually North San Diego County, a little mountain town called Ramona, and in Ramona, we were right in the middle of a 5-year drought, and it was a quaint little town. But in the riverbeds, the dried riverbeds, many communities of people lived in the beds. I'd never seen it before in my entire life, and I was shocked. The little church that we were on staff with was a small 300-member church, and what we would do is we'd feed them, find places for them to live if they wanted. A lot of them wanted to stay. It was their independence, but we still fed them. So as I guess a naive young man, pastor, stepping out and seeing the world, and it was nowhere near Skid Row, no doubt, because I've seen pictures of Skid Row, and that's a little scary to me.
Oh, it is.
So with the homeless, there's homeless all over the United States, but it seems like California, because of maybe the economy, that it is just more pronounced. So how does one like you guys get to that place where you can minister? Can you just show up and minister, or do you have to ask somebody? How does that work?
You can.
Yeah, I pretty much do, and it's a calling. I do it on the south side of Chicago, Brooklyn, New York, wherever God calls. And the Bluff there in Atlanta, we're there a lot. And so we go to the darkest places in the nation and we shine his light. And so with Skid Row, but it is, I don't ever, take weapons or security or anything with me. I believe that you get, what you give in that sense. And I've never, felt unsafe, but I think that has to do with the calling too. And Jackie goes out there by herself, at night and stuff. And, a lot of people probably, would think that was unsafe, but I haven't ever felt unsafe.
The thing with Skid Row is everybody always focuses on Skid Row. So you have to think, like, if you think of homelessness, most people go Skid Row.
Yeah.
So Skid Row
in LA,
there's a lot. Yeah, they have a lot of homeless, but they're very well taken care of as far as like having the ability to get to a hot shelter or food. They serve a lot of that there. So I mainly try to focus on the outskirts where people may not be able to get a ride to go get that food, or may not be able to get a ride to go get those clothes. Or they won't even know. There's no way for them to get the information.
Yeah, and it used to not really be like that. And the mayor or the governor here, she just declared
state of
emergency for the homeless situation out here. And I'm sure that these storms and all of this stuff that keeps going on, and it's continuing. It's been going on for like 2 weeks now, right?
I know he's talking about the riverbeds. I'm like, they ain't in there no more.
There's no more riverbeds, Rick.
Yeah, they're not dried anymore.
They're gone. Yeah, so nobody's living in those right now. It's really bad. So I know that'll just increase the numbers. So she did declare a state of emergency for sure.
Wow.
Now, in those places where the homelessness is so bad, and you're able to go in and talk to them and share the light, are they receptive to it? How do they take it when you share that with them?
Yeah, we've seen everything. I see everything, from demonic possession, where the person is kind of literally not there, or they're, a lot of times, of course, there's the drugs, there's the addiction problem, and they'll be high or drunk or whatever. But most of them, even those, and I'll even pray with drug dealers and things like that when I'm out there. and they are very receptive to us. And it's I always say it blesses me more than it blesses them. But usually anywhere we walk, that we're received well. The people that don't receive us well, that surprises me, are the city officials and people like that sometimes, which is unfortunate, and we need to do more about that.
It also depends on what area you are in, because I learned really quickly with Bakersfield, I am not safe by myself doing that there. The homeless situation, the energy is so much darker with the homeless people in Bakersfield. The LA homeless people, they're chill. They just really want someone to sit and talk to and be treated like a human. So they're up to listening to just about anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And play music and everything. There's a lot of talent on the streets, I saw something the other day. It was so cool to me. One of the highest paid violinists went to the subway just to do a test, and he was playing his violin on the subway, nobody paying attention. But the night before, he had sold out Carnegie Hall $100 a ticket.
Wow.
So and some of that talent out there, the homeless, it's overlooked. Yeah.
Wow.
Shiny's Light Ministries, Frankie Holbrook and Jackie there with her, talking about reaching out to the homeless and doing it oh so well. Shiny'sLightMinistry.com. If you would like to help out, because hey, it costs money to reach folks. So if you'd like to make a donation or whatever you can do, what can folks do to help you guys? Obviously pray and give money, but what else can they do?
Yeah. So, and if you want to volunteer, and usually anywhere you are in the country, I just hosted a group of 18 to 30-year-olds, millennials, 25, flew in from all over the country. And I took them around Atlanta. We showed them the Bluff, showed them different areas of Atlanta. We served on New Year's Day. We served probably about 500, 800 folks in Atlanta. And then we did jails. We went out and did a candlelight vigil. So you can get in touch with me or one of us on the website, ShineHisLightMinistry.com, if you want to volunteer or get involved, or if you need prayer. And then also, I'm still working on my suicide book about people sharing their stories of either attempting suicide or losing someone to suicide. So if anybody wants to share their story about that, I know a lot of people are hurting these days, and there's suicide is the second leading cause of death in teens right now. So get in touch with us. There's a number, there's a website, and there's a donate button on the website. And then of course, if you Google us, Frankie Holbrook or Shine His Light Ministry, you can find us.
Yeah, you can find Frankie anywhere.
That's
Just
true.
look for the walking party. You'll find her.
Simple as, for instance, when I first moved out to California, I found a church to start serving at. It's called Hope Reality, and they're downtown LA. They're next to the Scientology building, and they serve a full meal twice a day, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
So because I was serving, the pastor was like, if you need any food, and all this stuff, they get donated from Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. This is all like organic food. Like they eat better than I was. I can afford this stuff.
High-end food in Cali.
And so the pastor was like, you can start, taking food home. Well, at the time I was vegetarian. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this food. And so some homeless people started moving in behind my apartment complex. So I started every night whenever I would come home, I started cooking for 6 people, 9 people, 13 people.
Wow.
And I told Frankie, I'm like, can I start doing this for in the name of Shine His Light Ministry? She's like, yeah. So that's how I got started, even though I'd known her prior, but that's how I really got started.
Yeah, we connected. I do stuff with human trafficking. So Jackie's highly involved in that too. And we'll be doing some stuff at a safe house out here for human trafficking victims under 18. So we do a lot of that too. And Jackie was highly involved in that.
Well, listen, let's catch up with you in a couple of months and see what's going on wherever you are, East Coast, West Coast, Europe, wherever you end up. Shine His Light Ministries, Frankie Holbrook and Jackie there. We appreciate them. They are lions roaring in places that need the light of Christ, right? ShineHisLightMinistry.com. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith.